What is up, everybody? It has been a long time. So, this August, basically, I started getting to OSRS again. I just logged in one day just to see if it was interesting for me at all, and I was quite interested, in fact, enough to actually continue playing on this account. So you guys have missed a lot of stuff that has happened, and I don't know the best way to do this other than to just show you all the screenshots I have. There have been some streams since the last episode, but I don't have any of them. I'm just going to go through some images to show you some of the progress. Not all this video will be images. But before we even get into the screenshot progress, I think it would be useful if we just went over the rules again. This account is kind of unique, and it's not exactly cut and dry as far as, what is allowed and what's not. So take a look at the screen now. These are all the rules, and I'll be putting this at the beginning of each video from now on so you guys can remember what was allowed and what wasn't. Okay, so last episode, at the very end, you guys saw I got 57 crafting. That was a big achievement. We were only 13 levels at the time away from 70. Our goal was still 69 or 70 crafting. Of course, because I was a member, I could boost it with the Poison Chalice to 70, so I didn't actually have to be 70. Anyway, we got some really good crafting levels on in Trana. It took ages to get from 50 to 69. In between the crafting, I'd actually take PVM breaks, and I actually started checking out Fire Giants for pretty much the first time. I was actually maging at first, and then later I moved down to range, but this picture just shows that we got 2 Mithril Square drops, which was huge for the time, because that was the next best in slot shield. I think my best shield before that was either a Steel Square or a Steel Kite. And then I was basically doing a bunch of quests, so I was trying to get to Legends and complete it. We didn't get there, but basically I got Shiloh Village done, and then that allowed me to start doing gem mining, which was basically an alternate method of getting my crafting experience up to 69. It didn't end up being better than blowing glass, it was just not consistent enough. And then I was just doing woodcutting. I don't even remember why, and I actually got a follower on a RuneScape content-only account. I got a freaking beaver in OSRS. And it was the weirdest thing because I had never gotten one before. I had heard that they're extremely rare. I've heard of people that got to 99 woodcutting or like 100 mil XP in woodcutting and never got one. Kind of cool. I mean, I am an RSC-only account, but I'm not going to get rid of the guy. So I decided to keep him and basically show him off everywhere. I wish I had a screenshot, but I was getting lots of compliments. I was in Draenor doing Willows for a bit, and people would be giving me compliments all the time, so I felt really special, I guess. So back to crafting, and I guess I was doing flax at one point. I don't know why. I probably thought that it might have been good EXP per hour, but it just didn't end up being that great. Sometimes when I do these long grinds, I'll just try alternate methods, even though I know it's probably not going to be as good. It's because it's a change of pace, and it's like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was good. And flax spinning just wasn't. So this time, I was on a member's world, obviously, and I was just checking the store. Maybe I was selling bows, I actually don't remember. But anyway, I found 1,200 mithril arrows, and they were selling for 9 GP each, and so I bought all of those. That was a pretty nice deal. So I decided to head back to Fire Giants just to spice things up a bit. Crafting was probably getting boring, and I got my very first Rune Scimitar, and that is definitely a new best in slot. And it's probably going to be our best in slot for a long time, so that was a nice one. I think the best in slot item before that from Melee was maybe a Fire Battle Staff, because I had gotten that drop too, although I don't have a screenshot of it. Back to questing, and I finally got Family Crest done, which means I can finally use the Steel Gauntlets. I don't think I'd done Underground Pass at this point, so I don't think I had the best in slot gloves yet, so those are definitely going to be best in slot gloves for the rest of the series. It was pretty nice to get those, and I decided I wanted to just start using it with the new weapon. Best in slot gear, and I was hitting 11s, which I had never seen before on this account. And then while I was just training on guards just for fun, this guy just showed up and gave me 500k. That was definitely the most I've ever had on that account. So after a long time, we finally got to 69 crafting, which meant we were just one level away from 70 and we could boost using the poison chalice. So we did that and we actually made a few diamond amulets. I think these look so strange when they're not enchanted. Looks like an old sprite from 2005. Hey, check out this dope range outfit. This is basically the best in-slot RSC ranged gear. Amulet didn't really even help, it was just the arrows and the bows, man. Everything else is just passion. And so after grinding a lot at Fire Giants, we got to 60 ranged. Skeleton mine. Yeah, nobody mines here anymore except me. Yeah, I just thought I'd see if anybody tried to PK me in members, and it was pretty dead. If you're wondering why I have black armor, it's because it's for heroes. I had to get it in order to beat the hero's quest, because I signed up as a black arm. So fast forward about like a year or something, like a long time. I don't even know when the last time I had members on this account, but it ran out. I just stopped paying for it because I lost interest in the account, and I started playing RSC more, and so now we're back in free to play. I logged in August, so just a couple months ago, and I for some reason just wanted to fight guards. Like I just wanted to range guards in like RSC gear and just to be like a badass. And so we did that on like a Sunday afternoon, and it was actually a lot of freaking fun. And the best place to do this is World 1, just because there are tons of people that are always like walking around, teleporting, blah blah blah. And it's just like, if we're gonna be attacking guards, we might as well be like hanging out with other players. So in this screenshot, I'm actually ranging a guard, and somehow it got stuck between me and the other player. Maybe there was another guard there, because I don't think other players are supposed to block guards, but anyway, this is basically like safe spotting. So I realized that the longbow is actually like kind of op, because you can just fire from so far away that eventually the guards just back up and then they're stuck there and they can't back up anymore. And so you're just like super far away, and it's just like you're just ranging them for free, like safe spotting like that. It's kind of an interesting tactic. So there I was in Falador Square just hanging out, and some dude was like, hey, does anybody have bronze helm iron chain? And I was like, yeah, let me check my bank. I did, and the guy gave me 25k because he was doing the quest or something. So that was pretty sweet. And then later he was like, does anybody have cabbage? And I was like, I don't, but I will go get you some because you pay a lot of money for simple items. And so I went to the cabbage patch near the monastery or something, and I got 3 of them, just in case he ate one, obviously. And he gave me 50k. So later that day, I actually decided to go on a Greater Demons trip and just see if we can get a rune large, because it is possible. I decided to range them, just because range is probably my strong suit. Let's just go with that. And someone actually came out of nowhere. Now this was hilarious because I was watching my latest Open RSC video, and I was actually at the point where I was saying in-game, he just came out of nowhere. Like I was in the wild. It was at this point in the video that I was watching that I had gotten attacked in the wilderness. And at that very moment, a PKer came out from west, and they just started attacking me. And it was so funny because it was like, I was getting attacked in RSC in the video at the same time as someone was attacking me in OSRS. Dude, he came out of nowhere. What the hell?
King Seer, run. They are gonna PK you.
Okay, I'm gonna end the stream here, guys, because this is a good stopping point. We got chased out. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. We got chased out of the wild, so we can't go back in yet.
Yep,
just interesting timing. It's like you'd think I would have heeded the warnings. So I just started running south and eating as much as I could. And I actually did end up escaping this PKer, but because I hadn't played OSRS in like months, I just forgot basic like strategies of like surviving. Like I just didn't even log out. Like I could have just logged out at this point. But I didn't, because I didn't think to do that, and I forgot that OSRS has run energy that runs out. But I wasn't really risking that much. Enjoy the black plate legs and 30 chaos runes. So that was our little expedition into the wilderness. So at this point I decided to do some mining again. I actually had a really big stack of coal and iron. I think about enough to make like 500 steel bars, so I eventually made those into plate bodies, and we got 50 smithing. And this was amazing money because obviously they give you 1200 per high elk, but it actually ended up being like over 100k. I was actually interested in training melee and ranged up just as a change of pace from mining, and I decided to actually go to Dark Wizards because they have a pretty darn good nature rune rate. So I decided that that was going to be the best place to get natures because I wanted to do more smithing, and I mean, if I'm going to make steel stuff, I might as well be high elking it. But in this clip, you can see my alt Ranger Owen in the same spot. And this was actually a really cool idea because he could aggro the level 25s, or I guess they're not 25 in OSRS, they're level 20, and that way I don't have to get aggroed by them, but he can also share the nature rune drops, and so it's like we're kind of having two accounts do the same collecting job. One last thing about this area, it's crazy how dead it was. The first few days I actually trained here, I was on like World 1, World 308, because I was just like, okay, I'm here, like it's a spot in the wilderness that's pretty good for farming like runes. I was surprised to find absolutely nobody. I didn't run into one person. I was at like World 308 for like at least a week and just nobody. But from one really good trip, we got over 100 chaos runes and 80 natures and really good earth and air drops and some laws as well. So it's pretty good for just if you need some runes, honestly. Around here we got 60 strength, which was pretty huge. My plan for combat is I'm not actually going to try to raise my attack or defense any higher until I get members. We technically didn't even need higher than 40 since in free-to-play the strongest tier weapons is rune. I'd rather keep attack, defense low, and strength ranged high so that when I'm in the wilderness I can compete with peers and such. Okay, so as I was training ranged at Dark Wizards, I ran into the weirdest thing. It was a ghost, but it's not like an NPC. Like you right-click it and there's nothing there. It's like an actual ghost that's just wandering around. Like it doesn't have a set pathing or anything, it'll go back and forth, and it doesn't show up all the time. So I actually thought it was a player, like in disguise or something. But apparently player mods don't have like the ability to turn into ghosts. So I guess it's just some weird part of the wilderness that shows up occasionally. I was kind of sick of doing Dark Wizards for range training and for collecting natures. It wasn't that great ranged XP. I mean, you'd kill one in 2 shots and then you'd have to run and pick up an item again, and then same thing over and over again. Like, I just wanted to, fight something that had some more hit points, honestly. And so we decided to check out Chaos Dwarves. I looked at the wiki and they actually drop nature runes semi-commonly. Not as commonly as Dark Wizards, but they have more HP and they drop money keys and mithril bars and stuff like that. So I figure it was going to be cool to train here for a bit. And we actually got 64 range just doing this. It's pretty easy to safe spot them. You can just sit behind a trunk and you're pretty much safe. And then a bit later I got 61 HP and also a total level of, we don't call it total level, sorry, skill total of 975. Pretty rare. I actually got 2 money keys in a row. So I had gotten one from the previous kill, and then I got a second one in a row. They're not that rare, but it's kind of rare to get them back to back, so that was pretty cool. So the loot from these guys is actually pretty good. In one trip I actually ended up getting 6 muddy keys and 3 mithril bars and a mithril square, which is still best in slot, so I mean, I might as well just put it in the bank. They do drop some death runes, they drop some chaos, and the runes aren't too bad, but it was a good change of pace. Time to actually use those keys. I decided to bring 4 keys per trip just so that I have enough room for all the drops, although I really didn't need the mithril daggers, they're just not worth that much. Went back to training on Chaos Dwarves and we got 65 ranged. That's a pretty big milestone and it looks pretty, and at this point I had actually matched my mining level. That was the intent for a while, to actually keep ranged and mining at the same level. I just thought it'd be cool to do that. Eventually I didn't keep it like that because I was just interested in training smithing, but that's a goal for the account, is to maybe keep those two in sync. It was around this point that I decided I was going to go for 99 smithing and free to play. So time to start training mining and smithing for a heal. While 99 smithing was the long-term goal, I set up a short-term one as well, getting 50 to 60 smithing from smelting ores only. The plan was to make steel bars and bank them, but with a catch. I won't be looking at how many I have in my bank until I reach 60 smithing. This has created some suspense and made the grind more exciting. So the path is this. We start in the bank, and then we go into the mining guild. We mine 9 iron ore, and then we mine 18 coal ore. You may be wondering, why not get an extra 1 iron ore to get in a potential iron bar? Well, I prefer to actually not have the pickaxe be equipped. It just looks better. And also it's more RSC-like, so I tend to not even get that 28th item. So after doing this for about a couple days, I developed a really cool path in the mining guild. And I'll show that on the screen now, but basically it starts right near the iron ore and it just goes all the way to the back and then it just loops around. So by the time I get back to the iron ore location, I've already got a full inventory. And so it kind of works well because I don't have to worry about like going, back into the mine to get more ore. And you'll notice here I turn off run and I just start walking. So from here we're actually going to walk all the way to the furnace, and we make our 9 steel bars, and then we start running back. And the cycle continues. So also around this time, I actually decided to start using an alt. I was kind of against using an alt just because I prefer to focus on one account at a time, otherwise it can be confusing. But actually, if I just have one alt, and thus 2 clients open at the same time, it's not that confusing, especially if the alt is in a different mine. If the alt is in the same mine, it's actually really confusing for me because I forget which direction I'm going, I forget the pathing and all that. But here I have my alt collecting coal in the Dwarven mine, and so he will be running back and forth. 66 mining? 66 mining, bruh! So sometimes I'll be running into the mining guild and someone will be at the iron rocks. Now because I only need 9, I actually don't really care if I just steal the rocks. I used to find it really awkward to compete for rocks, but honestly I kind of like fighting for them sometimes because it just makes the game a little bit more interesting. I mean, like we're just clicking on rocks at the end of the day. Like it can get boring, so like why not just like make it a little bit interesting? But yeah, sometimes I just won't care at all about mining another rock while somebody else is mining it. So you may be wondering what happens if I get a gem. Well, I move that to my first slot and equip my pickaxe. That way I still get 9 bars, but I don't equip the pickaxe if I don't have to. If I get a second gem in the same trip, I'll take it if it's better, or I'll just drop it. Ooh, 67 mining. Alright. I don't think I've ever gotten mining this high in RS. At this point, I decided to visit another really, random old spot that nobody mines in anymore. The rocks aren't too bad. Obviously, it's too far from a bank to be efficient, but I just thought it was cool to just, hang out and just mine some rocks and reminisce. 68 mining. Charitix the Heartbreaker. I would again go in and steal people's iron ore. I just don't care. I only need 9. I'm not going to be here long, so, you can deal with it. Alright, 69 mining, that's 1 level to adamant.
Bye, have a great time!
That is the first diamond I've ever gotten in the mining guild. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Oh, baby!
70 mining, we can now mine adamant, and I thought, what better place to get this level than right here? And so we can now mine adamantite, and so we actually started doing that for the first time. And we finally got
adamantite ore
in my inventory that I had gotten myself, and this was the first time that had ever happened. that was pretty freaking dope, okay? And so I was kind of amazed that I had made it this far. It was just super cool to be mining adamant, and eventually one day we'll be smithing it. So decided to stay in here a bit and just do a bit of mining. Eventually we banked, and we banked those 4 adamant ore. Note, I'm just putting them in my main tab because I can't actually go to my ore tab because it's got my bars, because I don't want to know how many steel bars I have. It was really, really cool to see those 4 adamant ore in my bank. Like, that was very special. A week or so ago, I decided to move my ult to the skeleton mine. This place is definitely faster than the 5 coal rocks I was looping through in the dwarven mine. And the skeletons mostly had 0, so I just turned off auto retaliate and the sound effects. Fun fact, I haven't checked how much coal I have on this account either. I'm going to check that at 60 smithing too. Weird thing about coal with this challenge is that it's pretty much impossible to mine too much, but I am thinking of maybe switching to mithril or iron so that Chara has more smeltable ores at the ready. So I was playing on tablet a little bit every once in a while, and so we got 55 smithing, and that's pretty huge because it unlocks mithril arrows, although we won't be able to actually make them until members, of course. Every once in a while I'll find an iron dropper. These people mine iron and then they drop it, so it's an easy way to get 9 iron ore, and I just keep moving. It makes the trips faster, which means faster smithing XP technically, and a little bit less mining XP, which I'm okay with losing. This ranges guy is on World 393 all the time. I always see him here. By the way, World 393 is basically my home world now. I don't know how I chose it. I think I just decided the mining guild was best there, and so I only play on World 393, and this guy is almost always at the furnace. Yeah, so at this point I decided to open the client to play, and it just wouldn't open. Just randomly stopped working one day, and so I had to start playing with RuneLite. Boom, that's 72 mining. We are 13 levels away from mining Runite, which is just crazy. 56 smithing. I didn't actually record it, but I got the level, and we are now 4 levels away from 60, which is going to be an amazing moment for us, as we'll finally be able to use all those bars. So let's just keep going. Mining 73. It's crazy how fast mine levels go when your goal is smithing. Every once in a while I lose track of XP and suddenly get a level. It's pretty awesome. That pretty much wraps up episode 4. If you made it this far, props. This video turned out quite a bit longer than I intended, but let me know if you like the longer format. See ya in the next one.